Greetings from Mombasa, Kenya. Welcome to the demo video for ArtsEnvoy.ai, which is my new AI art and storytelling platform for the social good. Specifically looking at how AI art and creativity can help us translate and then amplify climate and sustainability solutions and promote sustainable livelihoods for content creators who want to dedicate their time to the space. This demo video is going to give you an overview of over 100, yes, 100 creative AI apps that I have trained that's going to walk you all the way from artifying your life on a daily basis if you feel like you need to bring more arts and creativity into your life, to helping you create powerful content, which is not that generic AI content that you see all over the place, to helping packaging it, whether it's you want to submit it to a festival, a conference, an open call, etc. And then lastly, learning how to monetize it, or for those who want to become content creators in this space, to build up your portfolio so that you can land paid gigs. My name is Lisa Russell. I'm an Emmy award-winning filmmaker, an AI artist, and the founder of Create 2030. And I've spent the last 20 years working as a contracted filmmaker and arts curator, really leading the movement of engaging diverse artists and creatives in the work of the UN and around global health, sustainable development, etc. And I've spent so much time training this platform so that you can use it, whether you are an artist yourself, you're creative, maybe you're an artivist, you're both a creative and an advocate, you're a comms person, you are a brand, an organization, etc. But you believe that we need a reboot of climate communications or around the sustainable development goals, and you want to be able to accelerate that using AI. I'm super excited to introduce this to you. I hope you come check it out. In addition to the platform, I have trainings, which means we have weekend boot camps. We also have weekly office hours so that you can get the most out of this platform. And I promise you, it is like a explosion of creativity that I'm really excited to introduce to you. So come check it out, ArtsEnvoy.ai, and let's create a better world together. Thanks. Essentially, there's, as I said, over 100 AI apps, but they really fall into 5 different categories. First of all, you're going to see a lot of these artify your whatever, artify your health, your events, your garden, your speech writing, etc. These are apps that I would suggest you use sort of like on a daily basis, and they are going to help exercise your creative muscle. Now, a lot of people, when they hear the work that I do, they get a knee-jerk reaction like, oh, I'm not very artistic, I'm not very creative. It's like, no, you are. It's just you have not been exercising that muscle like I have, because it's my livelihood, it's my craft. So I want those of you who are new to this whole concept of creative advocacy or impact creators to really artify your daily life. There is artify your home, your office, your food, your garden. I even have one for artifying your wardrobe if you want to get a little bit like creative in how you dress, and artify your body, which I use to generate interesting tattoo ideas on nature, for example. But that's one area. Then we have ideation. So we have, okay, so let's say you do want to do something for, Earth Day, and you don't know quite what to do. This artify, where is it? There's a lot of different apps here, but there's essentially like art idea generator. You can plug in sort of what you want to do, a live event, an online event, what the focus is, if you have other people involved, all of that can help you come up with an art idea, poetry chapbook, an image that you want to sell on Etsy, whatever it is, gives you an art idea to raise money for, Earth Day, for example, or, whatever kind of art idea. So ideation. Then we have generators. So we have, up here we have like the spoken word poetry creator, we have photography creators, we have short story creators, we have all of the different kind of generators that will allow you to create content, creative content for social media posts, again, for chapbook, whatever it is that you want to do. Then we move into analyzing your artwork. So let's say you take a photograph with your phone. It's not even in the app. right? Not even in the platform. You take a photograph and you upload it to our Art Critic app, which is right here. And it will give you feedback on lighting, composition, et cetera, et cetera. And this is really helpful if you are thinking about applying to these different open calls, I hate the word, but arts contests, whatever it is, to get yourself awards, accolades, et cetera. Then we're moving into both how to then take your final content and distribute it. So we have stuff like film festivals, music festivals, et cetera, to packaging it and monetizing it. So again, if you want to create digital content for online consumption, Etsy, those kind of things. If you want to learn how to use it to build your portfolio, to land paid gigs, which is what my career has been, all of these apps are going to help you do that. So I'm going to briefly just show you a couple, and then I'll have other demos of the different apps. But we're going to go ahead and start with the report translator. So just briefly, if you want to be valuable in the UN space, your biggest contribution is to know how to translate and then amplify the solutions that are being proposed in the UN space. Why is that? The UN is not, a artistic venue. It is a place where 194 member states are coming together to analyze data, research, create policy. All of this stuff is very important, but to be honest, it can be quite boring. So what our role is and what we can get paid to do is being able to understand that language. Like I joke that I'm multilingual. I speak artist talk and I speak UN talk, and I know how to go back and forth. And to be able to take this important information, translate it, and then amplify it to a wider audience through the power of art. Now, this particular app will take any report, any document, any website that you want and help you translate it into content that can be more digestible. Here we saw sort of the last image that I did. I kind of like this visual, but you can either upload the report or copy and paste. You can give it a summary type, which is like artistic, general summary, call to action, a speech. If you're giving a speech at a conference and you need some inspiration, the length of it, etc. So because it's the Commission on the Status of Women, I downloaded the Beijing Declaration is what it's called. And just so you can see, this is a 132-page document that I believe was typed on a typewriter. Very technical, very detailed, very difficult to understand for the layperson, let alone people who even work at the UN joke sometimes. They're like, we never read this stuff. So this is the report that we're going to upload and we're going to translate it, right? So we now have uploaded the report. We're going to do a summary. Let's do a speech. And then we're going to tone is going to be inspirational. We're going to do a short piece. Do we want images? Sure. Now, I don't always love the images that are generated from the report translator because you're looking at sort of a report that's dealing with big societal issues. So most of the images are very dense, a lot of people, wide shots or whatever. And I personally like more intimate, more character driven, et cetera. But I just want to show you how this app works. So again, if you want to get noticed and have value for the United Nations, for your government, for anybody that generates all these technical reports, this is one of the most valuable things you can do as an artist, as an advocate, is help them translate and then share with a wider audience. That essentially is how I describe my job. I'm a filmmaker, I'm an arts curator, but my role and my value is really knowing how to speak the UN talk and then taking documents and translating it and giving it to a wider audience. The other thing I want to point out too is that you could be like, well, I'm passionate about climate change. I just want to do a project about climate change. My training program actually gives you sort of insiders' viewpoints into what is really relevant and urgent, because not every climate issue is going to be relevant at a big UN COP gathering. They take certain themes, they take certain focuses, like COP29 was all about loss and damage fund, and that's what you need to be doing. So I don't want to send you off into the wild, but whenever we're getting together, whether it's during a boot camp, a weekend boot camp, or it's during office hours, we want you to know and be guided about what is sort of the most relevant and pressing topics. I also would say, for those of you who are like, I need to make money to do this, we have ways to monetize this. You just need to be really creative, right? So here's a speech, very short, and it should be giving me images. Yes. So like I said, this one's close up. And a lot of times too, if you've been using different AI platforms, you know that text is not always great. Yeah, these are, even though they're personal, maybe because we're doing it as a speech, I don't love them, but you can just keep reiterating. Now, I also just want to say you can always go into the apps and reprompt it. So let's say you don't like something, you can reprompt it. And the more you reprompt your platform, your access to the platform, the more it's going to know you and anticipate your preferences, your style, all of that. I mean, I've spent so much time training this entire platform. I joke that it is my digital twin. It knows what I do, how I do it, how I express myself, how I communicate, etc. And the more you use this app, the more you're going to be able to do that also. Another app that I quickly want to show you about is the UN Social Holiday Planner. If you are looking for inspiration, one of the best things to do and to build your portfolio, to be honest, is to know and align with one of the UN social holidays. There are, believe it or not, over 220, I counted, social holidays that happen each year. Plus there are social, observances, weeks, there's decades, there's years, there's all sorts of stuff. And the communications people who are your friends at the UN are looking for communications, advocacy, content that will help them elevate these social holidays. So for example, let's say, I want to do something around climate change. It will list the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which is the language and the guidebook for your work at the UN. And if you don't know them, we have an app for that also. But let's say I want to do something on climate action. So SDG 13, and I want to do something around racial justice. And I'm going to generate these results. Now, what this is going to give me and spit out is a list of the holidays, those 220 holidays that are most relevant to climate change and racial justice. And it's also going to give me not only the days, but it's going to give me who the lead UN agency is and the link. Now, as you start getting into the platform, you may want to get a notebook or whatever and be like, these are the days I need to hit with some sort of post, with some sort of social media thing, with a new chapbook, whatever it is that you are doing, you want to use these as targets. And I would give myself like 2 to 3 months ahead of them to really start planning, to reach out to these agencies if you feel comfortable. We even have a cover letter generator to do that. And you can also explore on their links what the themes are, kind of what the focuses are, and again, create content related to that. So they spit out this isn't a whole lot. They didn't give us Earth Day. They didn't give us a lot of the climate change related holidays, but that's okay. We can go through this and we can, prompt it to say, what about Earth Day and other climate related holidays? And, you can kind of just talk to it like, it's a friend or somebody that you want to. I even thank my AI sometimes, but that's going down a different tangent. But anyway, what you can do is keep prompting this and get out a notebook or get out a calendar and start putting this stuff down. And for those of you who don't really have a portfolio, this is a guide for developing a portfolio so that you can eventually get noticed. You can, start creating content. So here we go. World Environment Day, Oceans Day. So now they just spit out a bunch more. Wow. So we can choose one, several, and think about creating content around that. All right. So back to the platform. This is a monthly membership and it's starting out as cheap as I possibly can come. So if you have the ability and interest, I would encourage you to get into this platform, start using it. The developers behind the scene are really gearing towards making this an all-in-one platform so that, like me, for example, I have so many subscriptions to ChatGPT to Midjourney to Runway that helps me, put motion to my images, to Topaz. There's so many different apps, but if you start playing with this platform, I'm telling you, it can explode your creativity. I look at AI art and filmmaking the same way that I look at screenwriting, which is I am not confined by reality. If I want to make a film in outer space, I can do that. If I want to write poetry based on, centuries ago, I can do that. If I want to make images from the 1960s, I can do that. Like, there's so much stuff that you can do. The more you play with it, the more you're going to realize just how much creativity there is. Now, we are also going to have workshops, boot camps, online courses, etc., specifically geared towards helping you land paid gigs. So, for example, we have the proposal generator. You can put in a link or copy and paste any what's called request for proposal. And that is going to do the same thing. Summarize, and then if your AI platform knows you, they're going to start asking you questions and help you fill out a proposal as professionally as you can, given whoever has put out the request for proposal. Also, we have what's called an international budget generator. And that is also a really important tool. When you respond to UN RFPs, and we're going to have workshops on that, you're going to see that they want both a technical proposal and a financial proposal. Putting together a financial proposal can be very complicated when you're talking about flights, per diems, hotels, translators, local transportation, overhead, etc. And this helps walk you through it so that you can have like a budget helping you. You also have a cover letter app to help you write something in a very professional way, or, much more, casual, whatever you want to choose. But essentially, this is just a quick overview of the ArtsEnvoy.ai dashboard with all the fun stuff. I'm adding apps all the time. We even just for International Women's Day, we had the Change the Narrative app that allowed you to take a historical image of, men sitting on a scaffolding picture in the 1950s, and it translates it into women from the 1950s sitting on the similar scaffolding. So that is it for now. I hope you check it out, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.